Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and in today's video I'll be talking about lightning flows and all the interview questions related to lightning flows. We'll be discussing answers as well. But before we move on to the questions, I would like to thank you all for all your love and support on my YouTube channel, and it feels really great answering your questions, talking to you over LinkedIn, sending you notes and then commenting here back on YouTube. So thank you all for your love and support. Keep loving my content. Okay, let's talk about topics. So see, lighting flows are very important, and they're going to remain on limelight for next couple of years because obviously they are going to replace workflows and process builder in upcoming future. So it is very important that you understand lightning flows. It is very important that you understand the best practices of flows and its capabilities and demerits as well. So if you talk about questions, I've mixed couple of theoretical and couple of scenario based questions, and these are just the starters. So there are so many questions on lightning flows. I have tried to pen down couple of most important questions which I have seen mostly on an interviews, and if we also ask those kind of questions from the candidates. So the very first question is that what kind of flows we have. The moment you say that I have worked on lightning flows, they'll ask this question like what kind of flows we have in Salesforce, and tell me what type of flows you have currently worked on or have mostly worked on. So basically a couple of quarters ago there were only few types of flows, but now flows are very advanced, and then we have now screen flows, we have scheduled flows, we have record triggered flows, we have auto launch flows, and then we have platform event triggered flows. All these type of flows are different in terms of functionality and capabilities. We also have login flows, although they are kind of different in terms of what they do, but you can obviously name them. So these are the different types of flows, and if you want more details on that, you can just ping me and we can discuss the topic. But these are, on high level, these are the types of flows we have in Salesforce. Then the second question is, what is the difference between flows and process builder, or what is the difference between flows and workflows and process builders? So see, they both, all three of them are the part of process automation. So we have workflow, we have process builder, we have lightning flows, and then we have epics. But in terms of capabilities, flows are pretty much capable, and they have a lot of capabilities which we will not be able to do with the process builders. So in a simpler words, you can say that flows contains the simplicity of workflows and process builder, and it contains the capabilities of trigger without writing a single line of code. So to sum this up, you can you can form something like this, but you can run flows on a delete operation, which you cannot do in a process builder. You can reach up to more objects in terms of support in flows in comparison to the process builder. You can do so many things in flows which you were not able to do in the process builder. The reachability is more in flows than the process builder, and by calling to apex, you can literally do a lot of things. Now flow is capable to do so many things. I've been working on flows from the time it was the cloud flow designer, and it was not that great. It was not bulkified. You cannot do those things, but now it is pretty smooth, and the UI is also very great and easy. So yep, these are the things you can point out. Then the third question comes in, highlight the couple of best practices of flows. See, the best practices is something which you should definitely check out, and you should know, because see, flows are very capable tool, but with greater power comes the greater responsibility. So you need to make sure that you understand its limitations as well, and best practices, of course. So couple of best practices are common as triggers, like you should not do something inside a loop. You should not do DML inside loop. You should not do a get element inside a loop. You should always bulkify your flow. You should always do null check. You should always do the ID check before making anything. If you are going to make a DML, always try to check the size of it before doing that DML. If there is any DML, make sure that you have a fault element. If you have a SOQL query or get element, make sure that you have a fault element added to it. Make sure you have a proper debugging steps available for flows, and in terms of naming, you should always make sure that you have a proper naming convention throughout all of your flows. You should not try to make so many flows in for a single object. So obviously Salesforce recommended to have a single flow per object, but now we have so many types of flows available, so that is not possible. So for a record trigger flow, you can have one before record trigger, one after, and one for delete. And then you can have sub flows, auto launch flows, but try to minimize the number of flows. And also you should not do each and everything inside a flow. So try to create sub flows and use sub flows. Although sub flows are not supported everywhere, but wherever they are supported, try to use sub flows for the common functionality which you have to do in a different flows. Like let's say if we take the example of let's say creation of a task or something which you are sure that you will be doing on a multiple flows, try to do it via a sub flow and launch that sub flow from a main flow. Okay, then comes the couple of scenario based questions. Can we call a future method from a flow? This was one question I got in an interview, and it was a kind of confusing question because I was not aware about it much. But yes, you cannot call a future method from a flow, because what you can call from a flow is an invocable method. That invocable method may can call a future method, but you cannot call future method directly from a flow. So you will be calling an invocable method, and the class which has an invocable method can only have invoke @invocable method annotation in front of that method. So if you have an @invocable method annotation on a method, you cannot have @future as well in the same method. So the answer is no. But yes, in your invocable method can call a future method, so that is possible to do. If you want to do something asynchronously, that is possible to do with this technique, but not directly. You have to make some arrangements. Okay. Then comes a very important question. If you have called Apex from your flow, you must have seen that you can pass only a list. You cannot call a single variable. You cannot pass a single variable, because invocable method only takes certain parameters as an input type. So if you have to pass, let's say, a single account, then also you need to create a collection variable on your flow and then pass that collection variable to your to your invocable method. The reason is because we need to make sure that, Apex tries to make sure that whatever you are doing, you are performing something on bulk. You have bulkified your thing, and then you're processing that bulk operation. So just to make sure that it is bulk, this is a kind of restriction. But let's say if you have to pass something, let's say a list of contact and a Boolean variable, how are you going to do that? So for that, what you can do, you can create a wrapper class, create two variables. One will be the list of contact, the other will be a Boolean variable. Make sure that you have @invocable variable annotation in front of both of these variables, and then on your method you can create a list of your wrapper class and then take as an input on your invocable method. When after that, when you try to call that from your flow, you will get an option to pass and select those variables in your flow. So that's how you're gonna do that. There are a couple of questions on, can we call a subflow from a record trigger flow? No, currently we cannot call a subflow from a record trigger flow. That option is not available right now, but maybe in future we can call once they optimize it in a better way. Can we call a screen flow from an auto launch flow? No, we cannot call a screen flow from an auto launch flow, because auto launch flow gets triggered automatically, whereas the screen flows contains a screen, takes user input or something. So they are for a different purpose, but you might get a requirement to do something like that. So that is not possible right now. Although if you have to launch a screen flow on a click of a button or something, you can create action and launch that flow. Is a screen element available for auto launch flow? See, if you create an auto launch flow, you will see that on the left hand side you do not have all the options available. Especially screen option is not available because you cannot create a screen for that. So that option is also not available right now. But see, Salesforce is trying to work on flows a lot, and they are a lot they are more capable now than they were a couple of quarters before. So I believe that in future they'll add a couple of more capabilities on these flow. If you want to learn flows or process builder or more of these process automation things in detail, make sure that you do check out automationchampion.com. This is a very good website. I've been following this from 2014-15, and I've learned so many things from this website. So for flows, this is a must to visit website. And do let me know on your comment box what kind of topics you want me to cover in future. Thank you everyone. Bye.